As we begin hour number 4, welcome in. This is Transfer Portal Tuesday. We got until January 16th, this fun and frivolity that is the transfer portal. Auburn got its quarterback earlier today, a commitment from Byram Brown from South Florida. Led the country with 347 yards of total offense per game, threw for 3,000 yards, ran for another 1,000. Also a gaggle of USF Bulls have made their way. We're calling it Tampa North now in Auburn, talking wide receivers. You got a tight end, goes on and on and on. And based on Peter Raderkus from AL.com earlier, who covers the Auburn Tigers, he told us that there's still a couple more that's on the South Florida roster that Auburn could be eyeing. Meanwhile, Alabama, they got the number 1 running back from the ACC from NC State. Hollywood Smothers is on his way to the University of Alabama. Smothers led the ACC in rushing this season with an average of 85 yards per game. He is on his way to T-Town. Meanwhile, James Smith, defensive lineman at Alabama, he has entered the portal. He played in 37 games over 3 seasons for the Tide. He also made 12 starts, all starts coming this season. Let's get to the Higginbotham Hotline. Our next guest, I'm sure, knows a lot about Hollywood Smothers because he's in that neck of the woods near the triangle portion of the great state of North Carolina. And we're talking about Demetri Ravanos, who joins us now on Three-Man Front. What's going on, D?
I can see where Hollywood Smothers played the last 2 years of college football from my house.
Are you that close to Carter Finley?
Yeah, I'm really close to Carter Finley. Now, I can actually see the basketball arena from my house, but they are next door to each other, so I say Carter Finley.
Do you go to many games there on campus?
No. Come on. Am I going to see ACC sports? Ridiculous.
He's an Alabama graduate. He's snooty.
But you got Will Wade coaching basketball.
No, I'd go see some Will Wade. That'd be good.
Seems like NC State's good for a couple of Thursday night games every season. I don't know. I just thought Meat might wander out of the house and go, you know what, I'm going to walk down there.
All right, so give us a scouting report on Hollywood Smothers. Are you happy as an Alabama grad?
Yeah, I am happy. I'm not sure, and I guess you guys would know this better. Do you think they are bringing him in to be at the very top of the depth chart, or do you think they are trying to strengthen the depth?
No, he is number 1.
Okay, so I mean, look, he is a shifty guy. I think that what I have seen of Smothers here is going to be very different than what Alabama gets, because let's just be real. He is going to be playing with a level of talent he would never have access to at NC State. I was talking to my buddy Joe Ovius, who has actually covered the team for a long time, and he said that this kind of reminds him of Russell Wilson going to Wisconsin. Russell Wilson didn't get better. He just had better targets to throw to. He had a better running game that then made him a little bit more effective. I think even as much as it seems like everybody that has ever played a snap of football on the offensive line is now leaving Tuscaloosa, I still think that what is there has a better upside than anything that Hollywood Smothers was going to play behind here in Raleigh, and I think that is going to be a very, very big deal for him.
Meat, we go back to what was it, last Thursday, Alabama taking on Indiana at the Rose Bowl. It was surreal, whether it was seeing Indiana dominate Alabama like they did, just the closing minutes of that game and listening to a broadcast as I had to go and do a quick errand, and just it all sitting in that Alabama was trailing 38-3 in the closing minutes of a meaningful game in the Rose Bowl. All kinds of, I guess, realities started setting in for me, but what about for you as far as not only Alabama but the future of college football and where we are?
Yeah, man, these schools with huge national alumni bases with a lot of money are not going to go away. And I will tell you, mentioning that I live up here in Raleigh in the Triangle, guys, Duke's coming too. Like, all of these schools with alumni with money to spend have been waiting to be, like, being a basketball school is nice, but there's something fun about being a football school that they all want to spend money on. I will tell you, do you know how I experienced the Rose Bowl? I was in L.A., and I had gone whale watching. So when I got back to land and got back to Signal, I said to my son, we'll be able to see the fourth quarter. And I looked at the score, and I was like, why even watch? Who cares?
Well, you know what? You made a wise decision that day. I wish I could have gone and watched some whale.
You were in Malibu, right?
Yeah, I was. I was kind of all over the L.A. area that week.
Very interesting.
Did you get any Pepperdine swag?
No, my son actually does have a Pepperdine Waves hoodie though from before we even went out there. He is a big logo guy.
I like their swag. I think it looks good.
So I was a little disappointed. I'll be honest with you. So I was watching the Saints and Falcons on Sunday for obvious monetary reasons. The only reason that any human being would be watching that game.
U.S. Integrity pays him to monitor these games.
Yes, I make sure that there's not anything crazy going on in the world of betting. And so I'm watching the game.
As someone with a podcast about the Carolina Panthers with advertisers, I also was watching that game for monetary reasons.
Okay. Well, here's my point. My point is that I'm watching the game, and they keep cutting to like a bar in Tampa and a bar in Charlotte. And I know you don't live in Charlotte, but I was really hoping that I was going to see you at this watch party because you're the biggest Carolina Panther fan in the world. And I was very disappointed because every time that something good would happen in the game for the Falcons, because that was going to put the Panthers in the playoffs, they would cut to the bar in Charlotte. I never saw you. So I was very disappointed that you weren't at least going down to the Queen City and hanging out because your beloved Panthers was on the cusp of making the playoffs.
Well, A, 2.5-hour drive for me. B, I had no hope anything was going to go the Panthers' way because if there is something worse than relying on the Panthers to get a job done, it has to be relying on the Falcons to get a job done. So, yeah, color me as surprised as anybody. The Panthers are getting ready for another football game this week.
I wanted to ask you because we're getting reports that Jordan and Bill Belichick may be kicking the tires with some NFL teams about returning to the league. What is your best guess, being there and entrenched in the state of North Carolina, the likelihood that he coaches the Tar Heels in 2026 or if he goes back to familiar territory?
Well, the good news is Bobby Petrino is here now, so everything is going to be normal and cool. No, I don't think – I would be shocked if any NFL team wants him. And it has little to do with how things went in Chapel Hill this year and more to do with the fact that the dude is kind of a jerk, right? And he's 74, and it's easy to convince yourself that it's not worth it, particularly when you look back at his last 3 years in the NFL. There is one scenario, and there's only one scenario, Landrum, where I could see him back in the NFL, and that is if Tom Brady wants the flex of hiring Bill Belichick and being his boss for a change with the Raiders.
I mean, do you think that that's a possibility?
No.
Okay.
No. I think that Bill Belichick is here for 2026. Frankly, I'm shocked he's here for 2026 just because I thought he would get a year's taste of this and realize, oh, no, this is not for me at all. But I think given all of the negative headlines, not just nationally, but like locally, they were unforgiving of the guy. I don't think he wants to go out like that. So I think he will coach through the 2026 season. I would not put money down on 2027, though.
I went back and I watched listen, I grew up in Missouri, and listen, you're a Carolina Panthers fan. I grew up a St. Louis Cardinal football fan, okay?
Sure.
Before they flew to Arizona. And listen, I mean, the franchise was bad back then, just like it's bad in the desert. But my point being is that I've really been kind of a nomad when it comes to the NFL. Like, I don't have an NFL team. I don't like the Arizona Cardinals. I didn't like the Rams when they moved to St. Louis because they weren't the original St. Louis team. So I've just never been able to be attached to anybody. And so I've gone back and I've watched the Dynasty documentary on Apple TV about all that went on with the Patriots. And a lot of that, obviously, I forgot because I wasn't a New England Patriots fan. But my goodness, the stuff that Bill Belichick got away with back then and how it was covered up was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even the stuff that wasn't covered up, even the stuff that became public, like the Deflategate and whatever, Spygate.
The
like
Spygate with the camera and oh my gosh,
they all had a way of maybe not the scandals themselves, but the Patriots and the people covering the team had a way of convincing us these things were not big deals. And Deflategate wasn't a big deal. Spygate was. And it was just kind of like, do you remember how much people, like, remember the punishment for Sean Payton with Bountygate with the Saints?
Oh, yeah.
Bill Belichick got a fraction of that.
And not to mention the fact that in Spygate, if you remember, so literally that happened on one of the opening Sundays of the football season. Mangino was the head coach of the Jets, who used to be an assistant under Belichick. So you tell me how he knew that it was going on. And then it was reported, and literally within days, that whole situation was taken care of by Roger Goodell. Now, Belichick was fined $500,000, which that was a lot of money during the time, but he wasn't suspended. The team had to pay like $250,000 fine. But the NFL literally showed up at the Patriots' office, and they told them to destroy the tapes. Like, they didn't turn the tapes over to the NFL.
Right.
The NFL literally took a hammer there in the office building and destroyed them in the New England Patriots football offices just so they would not survive. This day and time, that would be litigated, what, like months before anything like that happened? And Roger Goodell, they turned that thing around within like a couple of days to get that taken care of.
So litigated to death, probably. The thing, though, that I would say I find really interesting is one thing the NFL has stayed pretty consistent on is they have these hard and fast rules until those rules get violated by somebody that could really hurt the league, right? Like, think about how many times they have backtracked on the rules about what Tom Brady, as both a broadcaster and minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, should have access to. Think about how much more and more and more they allowed him to do, to the point that now Troy Aikman could essentially be a corporate headhunter for GMs and work with the Miami Dolphins while still calling Monday Night Football games. Matt Ryan thinks he's going to be able to be the next GM of the Falcons and be on CBS. If there is one consistency in the NFL's inconsistency, it is that rules only matter until they are inconvenient.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Demetri Ravanos is joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline.
Demetri, who do you like this weekend? We get the NFL playoffs cranked up. Do you see any sleepers? Or it's just been kind of a weird year in the NFL, a really weird year.
Yeah, I will give you a sleeper. The Panthers beat the Rams once at home. Why couldn't they do it again?
Did I see this right, where the Rams, their last 7 meetings against Carolina, they're 1-6 against the spread?
I believe that is correct. I think the very first one of those was from the Super Bowl year with Cam Newton. I mean, that of course tells you how infrequently these two teams play.
Right.
Like, the Panthers have been wildly different franchises during that time.
Yeah, there's no question about that. In regards to the college football playoff, based on what you saw, what Indiana did to Alabama, is it Indiana's championship to lose?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Indiana or Oregon, the winner of that game, has to be the odds-on favorite to win it all. I mean, I waffle back and forth on whether or not Ole Miss is a story I am rooting for, mostly because at the end of the day, it is another SEC team that is not Alabama, and I don't want them to be happy at all. I kind of like the Indiana story of the base of this team are dudes that came with Cignetti from what was at one point football no man's land. I mean, James Madison was good, but they were never going to touch the top level of college football. And look at the position all those guys are in now.
There's no doubt about it. Amazing stat, 0 5-stars on Indiana's roster. Meanwhile, Oregon's only got 5 5-stars. Ole Miss has 1 5-star, and Miami has 3 5-stars. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was flying back from LA. I flew on a red eye on New Year's night after the game, and I happened to be sitting in the terminal next to a guy whose son had transferred from NC State to Indiana. He was on the team. And first of all, he came in, we were talking about the game, and he said, we came in confident. We didn't think Alabama could be on the field with us, and we knew it after the first quarter. But the other part of that is that part of the reason that unit worked so well together, and this was, this father telling me this, The secondary was all transfers, and there was this way of bonding of we are all strangers in a strange land here. All we have is each other. And so that really kind of helped gel a transfer-heavy team. I think, when you add to that how much talent there really is on that team and what a good developer of programs Kirk Cignetti is, I'm not surprised Indiana are where they are, and I would love to see them close the deal.
So I came across, I think it was one of your latest podcasts in which you guys were talking about the 2026, I think it was media predictions. Did I see that? And I think, and I was really fascinated by what you said about Jim Nantz, about his future, because Jim Nantz is one of the best broadcasters, really the only one that CBS honestly has. But what he does with the NFL and obviously what he does with the Masters is incredible. But you had an interesting prediction about the future in 2026 for Jim Nantz. I wanted you to share that on air with us.
Yeah, I predict he will announce his retirement from the NFL. He has been pretty steadfast about wanting to get to 30 Masters tournaments, and if I recall, that would be 2029. I think I remember him telling Dan Patrick at one point. But at this point, I think he is valuable enough to CBS just calling the Masters. He's got 2 young kids. He just moved from that big house on Pebble Beach to Nashville. I think he might be ready to have a little bit less work in his life. And this is something I said in the clip that you saw. The person that told me this does have a vested interest in J.J. Watt's career, but there is a real push to get J.J. Watt into the top NFL booth at CBS, and CBS, the people that run CBS Sports are smart enough to know you are not just going to drop him into an already established team. It's probably going to be J.J. Watt, Tony Romo, and a new play-by-play guy. I think that's the only way you can make it happen quickly. So I don't know if 2026 will be the last year Nantz is calling games, but I do believe by the end of the 2026 NFL season, he will tell us either this is my last year, next year will be my last year, something like that. We will know Jim Nantz's end date with his NFL work by the end of next season.
And we got to see Jim Nantz, that Pebble Beach house, on one of those episodes where you had, was it Peyton Manning and Tom Brady that pretended to break into his home, and they were actually having the chipping contest there in the backyard with the putting green that he had there. It was just unbelievable. You would love it if you were a guy to live there. But $39 million, I'm seeing, was the asking price.
Wow. I mean, look, nothing against Nashville. It is where my sister lived. It is a perfectly fine town. I don't even golf, and I'm not sure I'm leaving that Pebble Beach house for Nashville.
All right, Meat. As always, we appreciate it. I'm glad you could find time for us today. Last week you kind of blew us off. So
you were in Malibu. It's okay.
Listen, a Malibu local told me this because I was just complaining that, oh, man, how do you guys do anything out here with no cell signal? And he gave me, a very fair sob story, which was like, we used to have great cell signal. And then you might have heard about these wildfires. And I was like, oh, yeah, touche. My bad. Now I feel like a jerk for complaining about it.
By the way, on Jim Nantz, and I'm like you, I respect the heck, but someone who had went to his home one time, and I forgot who it was. They probably wouldn't want me to say, but they said the thing that struck them, and they walked into the I guess that would be the living room area part of the home. He had a portrait of himself that was commissioned.
Yeah, sure.
Actually hung right there above the fireplace. So,
listen, the man carries a picture of burnt toast in his wallet to show waitresses at diners how he wants his toast. That is true. He has owned up to that. I love that story.
That's crazy. Well, Meat, we always appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Here's to another great year here in 2026. We always appreciate it. Thanks. And go Panthers.
All right, boys. Thanks so much. Yes, I will pass on the good messages.
Please do. Demetri Ravanos joining us, as all of our guests do, on the Higginbotham Hotline.
More to come on this Tuesday edition. We're live at Social Taco on Jocks. Welcome back to Three-Man Front on Jocks. We are live at Social Taco. A few more minutes left to go in this broadcast, live on location here in Homewood.
As we continue live here from Social Taco, I always tell you about our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, you can download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WJOX to get the $50 in lineups after the first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. We got college basketball coming up tonight. Pat, Buckyball returning to the state of Alabama. Texas A&M taking on Auburn, a team that fell into overtime to Georgia. Right now, the Prize Picks projection for one Kevin Overton of Auburn, 11.5 points. More or less for Kevin Overton, 11.5 points. I'm going to say more.
I'm going to say more, too.
From there, we will go to, Marcus Hill, Texas A&M guard. You might familiarize yourself before tonight. 8.5 points. I'm going to go more on Marcus Hill.
I like that as well.
We hit them. Both of those projections were a winner. You could be a winner to join millions of users. Sign up today for America's #1 fantasy sports app. Our friends at Prize Picks. Once again, it's good to be right.
So just got this in from the transfer portal. Alabama interior offensive lineman Joseph Ionata. He has come out of the portal. He is going to play for Brent Key and Georgia Tech. So that is the second Alabama player that has gone in the portal and has come out. Jalen Mbakwe, he has committed to play for Brent Key, and now Joseph Ionata, one of the backup offensive linemen. And Brent Key knows offensive linemen.
Yeah.
As he was once the O-line coach at the University of Alabama for Nick Saban.
Oh, and something that Brent Key can sell to guys coming in, but look at what he was able to do, and I know he lost his offense coordinator for Florida, but look what he's able to do with Haynes King and some of those other guys that they acquired and that turnaround of the program. Brent Key has done a marvelous job, which is why his name was mentioned for the likes of potentially Florida, Auburn, Penn State. Never would have thought where a guy that was on a staff, and he was on the staff of Jeff Collins, correct? Mm-hmm. Then gets, because they interview other folks, reportedly other candidates for that job, turn it down because it wasn't enough money. He takes the job, and look what he's done.
Also, some news out of Auburn. They have just gotten another tight end prospect out of the transfer portal, Xavier Newsome. He visited the Tigers earlier this week, and he announced his commitment today.
Howard kid?
Yep. He played at Howard University, so he is now on his way to Auburn.
A lot of tight ends.
6'6", 254 pounds. He played his freshman year at Howard for Auburn tight ends coach Larry Scott. He visited the Tigers earlier this week, and so today he has made it official. He is now an Auburn Tiger.
Well, and you look at this offense, and we've been teased before about tight ends and getting all excited about a tight end coming into offense, and then by the end of the season you're like, oh, yeah, we got a tight end. Where is he? Josh Cuevas would be the exception of how much that offense this year leaned on a guy like him, and we've seen other notable guys in the past hours at Vanderbilt. I think that tight end in Alex Golish's offense is going to play more of a prominent role than it has in past offenses at Auburn for Auburn fans. So it looks like a good kid and a guy that's got a relationship, I think, with you've got your new running backs coach that came from up that way. That would have been Larry Scott, right?
Yes, that is correct. So, yeah, so news left and right. The transfer portal will be open until January the 16th. Keep in mind, you have to file your paperwork through January the 16th. You don't have to commit before January 16th. But most of these schools, they went ahead and get these things done so they know from a roster management standpoint where they stand, because you got to get ready for spring ball, which will be coming up right around the corner.
We mentioned this defensive lineman, a talented guy from Clemson that was leaning LSU. He has made it official. Clemson transfer defensive lineman Stephylan Green has committed to LSU. Meanwhile, Oklahoma's transfer running back, Javante Barnes, has committed to Kentucky. So Kentucky getting an Oklahoma running back. And Georgia offensive lineman Bo Hewley has entered the transfer portal.
According to Bama 247, just a few moments ago, they posted that Bama 247 is no longer ruling out an Alabama visit for number one receiver Cam Coleman for later this week. He has taken trips to Texas and Texas A&M, while Texas Tech is up next. The website says we shall see, but they're no longer ruling out that he will not show up on campus. So that was something that a couple of the other Alabama websites this morning was saying, that there was not a lot of confidence that Cam Coleman was going to make a visit. But, I mean, heck, if he's coming back to the state of Alabama, right, to get his to get his stuff, I mean, he's got to come back, right?
Well,
So
I
why
mean,
not,
with the kind of money that Cam Coleman's going to have, you could send folks to go and get it. But I'm sure that he probably wants to say farewell to some folks that aren't going to be making the trip.
But like I said, maybe he just wants to go say hello to Ryan Williams and Red Morgan.
Well, at that point in the process, you're a little deeper into the portal cycle. How badly are you needing a receiver? Now, I've got great offers from Texas. Mm-hmm. What do you think the highest offer is that he gets
for him?
Yeah, you think it's $3 million?
I would think if Texas Tech would go $3 million. I don't know if Texas would or A&M.
I think Texas Tech would.
Yeah.
Something tells me that Texas would, but I don't know where. Does it really matter where they have current dollars appropriated? It doesn't.
No. And Texas Tech has proven. I mean, they will go all in. I mean, heck, you can make the case based on the fact that you just signed a quarterback for $5 million that you need a wide receiver, and you'll pay whatever's necessary because you scored 0 points in the college football playoff. 0. Not a 1. So that would be a good motivating factor for Cody Campbell and the rest of the Matador Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Defense, you're in good shape. Offense, not so much.
Yeah. Well, Train Molly, that is our partner here at Jocks, and they do a fantastic job on your heating and air.
Yeah, absolutely. And reminder that flu season is here, and you want to make your home healthier, so you need to use Train's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner because it removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. It's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go and find a dealer near you at train.com.
When we come back on Three Man Front, we'll do some Pat Ponders on this Tuesday. We're live at Social Taco on Jocks. It is 1:35. Welcome back in to Social Tacos three-man front. We're here each and every Tuesday. Another incredible crowd. Barely enough seating up here today. It's kind of thinned out a little bit since we have been here since 10 o'clock. But, yeah, a great crowd as always. We appreciate everybody. Starting the new year, of course, we were here last Tuesday, but I guess technically this is our first show of 2026.
Yeah, it's a great place. If you've never been to Social Taco, whether it's lunch or dinner or brunch on the weekends, 10 to 2:30 on Saturdays and Sundays for the Bottomless Tapas brunch, but the half-off happy hour, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. And it's a great place to convene, not only when it's cold outside, but especially in spring. When spring pops and we get that nice afternoon sunshine, the patio is a perfect place to enjoy beautiful people from the surrounding area enjoying beautiful tacos. Socialtaco.bar for more information.
All right, let's do some Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trussville. Brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trussville. Goodbye and see them at courtesybirmingham.com or right off of I-459 exit 32. Damian Mitchell from the Conrad Van Order Show. He joins us now in studio.
How's it going, fellas? It's also called Morning Jocks, but good to hear from y'all.
Why does he not get the same memos we get?
He doesn't. He doesn't read his email.
Yes, I do. I've taken enough training to know that I have to check. It sounds like y'all are getting fished. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, okay.
Don't get fished.
All right. Well, you can hear Damian weekday mornings from 6 to 7. Are you ever going to have Conrad back on the show again?
I believe Thursday. I don't know what the protocol is for 30-year-olds, but, you know, I guess this is what it has to be.
Oh, now that he's 30, you can expect him to arrive 30 minutes earlier every morning. That's just what we do as old people.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, let's do some ponders. Question number 1. If you guys were advising Ty Simpson today, do you tell him to go pro or come back for another year in Tuscaloosa?
Given what I've seen, I tell him to go pro. I don't – with the uncertainty of Keelan Russell, what you've been able to do at the college level, risking injury next season, getting banged up, no, I think your legacy at Alabama, it's cemented. You're a captain. People appreciate the time that you put in. You waited your time. You earned your time. You got to a college football playoff. Tell that kid to go and have fun in the NFL.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Everything that Landrum said. And also, even if he's not if he's not the first or the second quarterback taken in the draft, more than likely he's going to be drafted by a team that's already have an established quarterback. Like I talked about it this morning. If you're the LA Rams and you get Ty Simpson, mid-second round, well, Matthew Stafford's on borrowed time here on the backstretch of his career, but then you'll have a young guy that's got pretty much the similar capabilities as far as, understanding the offensive side of the ball. I think if you're Ty Simpson, you'll kind of wait that out and say, hey, I could have a pretty extensive pro career, and I can go ahead and get the head start on it, sitting behind, a polished veteran like that.
No, I agree. I think he should go ahead and go to the NFL, especially when you look at the recent mock drafts. And I know they're all different and they're always all wrong, especially when we actually do get to the draft. But, he's mocked pretty high as of right now. So, at this point, why not? Why would you want to stay in college?
It's interesting that Damian brought up Stafford and the Rams. I was told last night, Damian, no lie, from someone in the coaching world that the Los Angeles Rams has shown a great deal of interest this whole entire season. It has not wavered that the Rams really like Ty Simpson.
I think it's a great fit. And, again, Matthew Stafford's definitely on his way out. You want to at least keep him afloat with a young guy and see what you can do and build his career out west. I think it's a perfect fit.
All right, question number 2. Give me the percentage chance that Lane Kiffin is going to be in Miami if Ole Miss makes the national championship game. Percentage.
Oh, I think that's just too much. He won't be able to keep himself away. He probably stays with Coach O.
That's good.
There in the South Beach loft. No, Miami for Lane Kiffin. Are you kidding? Now, it might not be public. He might be incognito, which would be hard if you're hanging out with Coach O. But no, I think he's definitely there. He can't stay away.
So what percentage do you give?
100%.
100%. Okay.
I'll give it the old human error. I'll say 99.9%.
Oh, okay.
See, I was thinking 80 to 85. I do think he will be there, but what if there's a chance that Kim Mulkey wants him to come back to a basketball game? And then he has to miss it.
I think Kim Mulkey has banned him from the Maravich Center because
Well,
You're
they
bringing
didn't
all
lose that
that
game.
bad juju in here, Lane.
she's 0-2 since her and Lane walked across the court holding hands. They have lost their first 2 games in the SEC.
Awful.
Oh, boy.
I wore my fancy sequins.
I'm going to go different than all 3 of you. I say 0% chance. Because if there was ever a chance of him to watch Ole Miss, it was to sit in the governor's box in the Superdome, and he didn't do it. I don't think he's going to go to Miami. He could have gone right up the road and seen them play in the Sugar Bowl.
I just feel
And he
like
didn't do it.
Miami's just too much.
Right.
It's just too much of an invite for him, even if there wasn't a game going on. Lane's just always looking for a reason to get to Miami.
All right, question number 3. Starting on Thursday night, we'll have 5 straight nights of playoff football. First 2 days, college football playoff, followed by a long weekend of the NFL playoffs. Would you guys welcome the CFP being on Saturday, regardless of the NFL schedule, or do you like the avoidance of the competition of the NFL playoffs?
I had this conversation with my wife last night because she was complaining about the playoff game being on Friday in Atlanta, and I said, no, you got to think about it. The NFL, they play nice. College football usually plays nice. I like this. I like having – because it fills that void, the Thursday and the Friday, and then you kind of ramp into the NFL season. I like the way they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
I would not want to coincide on the same day.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think the way that we have it this weekend is the perfect setup.
So each individual day you've got multiple.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, and you think about the ratings numbers, and we're so dependent, and we're doing these comparative analysis at the end of the year. No, give college football its own freestanding days, especially when it comes to the semifinals.
Question number 4. Over 60,000 field goals have been attempted in the history of the NFL. The Ravens' missed kick on Sunday night was the only one ever attempted as time expired in the final week of the season to determine which team would go to the playoff. As we remember, Tyler Loop missed a field goal, and it's going to haunt Ravens fans forever. Loop and his fiancée have been bombarded with hateful responses on their social media accounts. So it got me pondering, do you think, moving forward, that Tyler Loop will ever kick again for Baltimore?
No, not for Baltimore. I don't think so. I think he kicks again for somebody else, but not for Baltimore.
Yeah, that was the question. It's for
too
Baltimore.
much. No, I think it's too much to bring him back. I don't. Does he want to?
Right. That's what I was thinking. It's would I want to go back in that locker room and deal with all this stuff? I'm going to say yes, only because he's a rookie, and I'm looking at it from the glass half full perspective. That from this moment forward, he won't be pressured anymore. Like, he's going to have ice water in his veins from this point forward.
See, I agree with Damien. I think he will. But if I were him, and this might seem soft, I don't know, but, like, at that point, just turn off the comments, man. Like, you can turn them off on your social media, because that's awful. What people are saying to him and his wife. I get it, he missed a kick, but, like, it's like some of these things that people are saying are just, it's awful.
Let me throw out this scenario. He doesn't kick next year. He ends up, the next time we see him kick, he's kicking in the UFL, and it's for the Birmingham Stallions.
Okay.
He shows out as other kickers before him have done with the Story franchise.
Yep.
He earns his way back to the league, and he's kicking for the Cowboys one day.
The Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? Over 60,000 field goals have been kicked in the history of the NFL, and what happened the other night was the first time ever
I've got
in that whole scenario.
I've got one of those game balls from a Broncos-Raiders game from way back in the day. My dad was friends with one of the NFL referees. It was Bobby Skelton, for folks who remember, and got a ball, and it's got the thud mark.
Wow.
from where it was kicked. It was an extra point. Yep. Pretty cool.
Interesting. All right, final question of the day comes courtesy of BB, as BB likes to provide us at least one question every day. Stores have their own basic style of shopping cart. Now, depending on the store, the quality of the carts can vary from really smooth running or something akin to pushing an ox cart on a mountain bike trail. Do you spend time to make sure you get a good cart, or do you not care and just grab the first available, even if it doesn't function well?
Oh, I'm so picky about carts. Number one, I've got wet wipes in my pocket just in case the store has not provided them. And they're bad about doing that sometimes, but it's cold and flu season. You're not taking any chances, but I would say
Is that why you're not sick right now?
antibacterial. Shut your mouth, Pat. I was overexposed, and it would have been worse. But no, not only that, but the wobbly wheel or the wheel that sticks, can't deal with it. I will abandon a shopping cart in the middle of the store just so somebody takes it out of
So
commission.
you won't take it back to the front? You'll just leave
No,
it?
I'll let somebody know, hey, this does not need to be used
This is
by
not working
anybody.
properly.
This is not working properly.
It's disabled.
He
I'll
sends it
tell
to
you.
maintenance.
I like the plastic shopping carts that they're a little bit lighter weight, a little bit easier to maneuver, and it seems like their casters on the bottom of the cart, they seem to function a little bit better than your standard wire cart or metal cart. Go ahead, D.
I just grab and go. I'm not gonna be in the store long enough to even give it a thought. I just grab it, do what I need to do, and I'm out of there.
When's the last time you sat in a cart where the children see?
Saturday.
Man, y'all get on my nerves, man. That was a good one. But it's been probably about 10 years.
10 years.
It's been about 10
When
days.
you're 19?
Yeah, I can still
2
do it.
days when my mom took me Christmas shopping.
All right,
Love
so
you, dude.
Damien just grabs and goes. How about you, Molly?
See, if I need to grab a buggy, I'm just grab and go. But 9 times out of 10, I just grab a basket because I'm
Okay.
not typically buying that much anyway. So I'm a basket girl when I go to the grocery store, not typically a buggy.
All right.
You go in, and I've just gotten to where I get the buggy most times, even if I don't think I'm going to need it, because the walk of shame is having to put your stuff in the middle of the store
Yeah.
on one of those end caps, go retrieve buggy, go back, load it all in there. Yeah, that was a great question.
It
Way to
really
go,
was.
BB. Very nice. That's today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Goodbye and see them off of I-459 exit 32. Online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com.
You'll never guess, but more transfer portal news. We'll get to it next on Three Man Front.
A few more minutes left to go in this program. Appreciate everybody stopping by and seeing us here at Social Taco. Reminder, we're here each and every Tuesday. Back in studio tomorrow, some of our featured guests. We'll continue to monitor the transfer portal. Brian Edwards will be by, some college football playoff Vegas picks he'll give us. Chris Stewart, the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll kind of put a recap on the college football season for the Tide and talk about Alabama's big basketball game coming up against the Vanderbilt Commodores tomorrow night. J.P. Shadrick, who is a Hewitt-Trussville High School graduate, went to the University of Alabama. He's now one of the voices of the Jacksonville Jags. JP's on the program a good bit. He comes to town a couple times a year. I'm able to kind of hook up with him and have lunch and chit-chat about football. Got a big game for the Jags coming up this weekend against the Buffalo Bills. He's going to preview that with us tomorrow. That's just a couple of the highlighted guests that will be along the program.
Yeah, NFL playoffs should be exciting as always. The transfer portal, that's exciting as always. And maybe some local news for Alabama fans, maybe to the chagrin of Auburn fans, but former Auburn defensive lineman Malik Blockton in the transfer portal and potentially could be looking at suitors like the University of Alabama and other SEC schools.
6'3", 291-pounder from Pike Road High School outside of Montgomery, Alabama. Freshman, played on the D-line for the Auburn Tigers.
That would be interesting. Former Georgia defensive lineman Jordan Thomas has committed to South Carolina out of the portal. And we mentioned it earlier, Howard transfer tight end Xavier Newsome has committed to Auburn, a big kid, but one that Alex Golesh and the staff identified early in position of need, one of many positions of need for Alex Golesh and a lot of other coaches around the country.
But the big story today was Auburn has been waiting for Byron Brown and made it so this morning as he committed to Auburn, led the country with 347 yards of total offense per game, threw for over 3,000, ran for 1,000, a lot of touchdowns under his belt last year, in which he threw for 28. He also had 14 on the ground. So just an incredible quarterback who will now be the starting quarterback for the Auburn Tigers. And Pete Thamel reported this morning that Byron Brown is going to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the 2026 football season. So be very interesting to see once that all starts leaking out how much money. Point of reference, Jackson Arnold made $2 million last year as the signal caller for the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, and you look, whether it's the extreme example of a Trinidad Chambliss coming from Ferris State or guys like Byron Brown and others that maybe not the most highly sought-after prospects when they came out of high school, but given a chance to shine and now being able to capitalize. I don't know how many of these guys and their talent and how it translates to the NFL level, but you love seeing the guys that have earned their stripes. They weren't necessarily, not that it's bad being a 4 or 5-star coming out of high school, but the guys that were overlooked in a lot of cases or had to overcome adversity, whether it be an injury or something else. You got to cut your teeth somewhere. They've been able to do it, and now being rewarded. And some of them, it will be life-changing money. And if they're responsible with it, a great way to start your career in whatever you do after football.
Brett Greenberg, who writes for Bama 247, he just posted something of note. I had not heard this rumor, but there was some speculation out there that Alabama cornerback Dejon Lee Jr. may be looking at potentially going into the transfer portal, but he just posted moments ago, Brett Greenberg did. Seen some speculation out there, so I wanted to check in. I have no reason to suggest that Dejon Lee will not be in an Alabama uniform next year.
That's going to do it for us. We appreciate Molly, Damian Mitchell, for Pat, I'm Landrum, and all of our great listeners out there and here at Social Taco. God is great. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday afternoon.